This video will display how to perform Chapter 8 Grader Project. So in Blackboard, I'll click on my assignments link. And this is for week 4. So I will click on my assignment link. So it's showing you this part 2 here, Word Lab 3 required tasks, Chapter 8 Grader Project. It's posted in my IT lab. It's worth 50 points, and this must be performed in the true Microsoft Word 2013 software. So I'll click on that link. This link all involves various links to take you to prepare you for Exam 1, Literacy Exam 1, which is in Chapter 1 in your e-textbook. So we're going to go down here to log into your My IT Lab account to perform Word Lab 3 required task. Go ahead and log into your account. And y'all are the online section. And course materials should pop up. We've already done one grader project in a previous lab, but this will only be the second time. So okay, we'll click on the link Word Lab 3 required task. This is the grader project. This is the e-text to Chapter 8, which will show you in the e-text the various steps to perform the grader project, but I'm going to demo it here in this video. But this is the chapter that involves the steps, what you have to click on performing all of these tasks. So I'll click on the grader project to open it. Now this is where I have to download these files, perform the steps, and then upload the file to have it graded. So I'm going to download my files. I can download all 3 individually, or I can download all 3 at one time, but it's a compressed folder. If you download all of these here in a compressed folder, you got to make sure you extract those files. I'm just going to, since there's only 3, I'm going to download one at a time. So I'm going to click on the drop down download on that first one. I'm going to save the file. The thing is, with the file, you want to make sure you get it on the computer you're using. So I'm going to save it to the desktop. Click Save. On the next one, I'm going to save it. I'm going to make sure it goes to my desktop so I'll know where it's at. Now, if I do, I'm going to click on the third one. If I say open, I mean, this is fine if you want to open it. The only thing is, once you open it, immediately save it to the computer you're using, because you're downloading it from another computer, and you're not going to be allowed to save on it. So immediately do a file save as, and go to your computer and put it on a desktop or wherever you're saving these files for this class. So I just want to make sure, and then I'm going to close it. So I should have these 3 files downloaded and saved on my computer somewhere. So I'm just going to minimize all my windows. Go to my desktop, and I have the Chapter 8 here, instructions file. I have the Chapter 8 grader H1 start file. Then I should have one other one here that I think is new jobs. Okay, so there's the 3. I'm going to open the instructions file and follow the instructions here. Start Word, download and open the file grader 1. So I'm just going to open my grader 1 start file right here. Okay, and I'm going to flip down here from my taskbar on the bottom of my screen. One of these is the instruction and one is the work file. So I'm going to go back to the instruction. It says click in the blank line at the bottom of the document and insert the text from the downloaded document, new jobs. I will bring up my work file by using the taskbar. When it says go to the end of the bottom of the document, I'm just going to do a Control End. So I go to the very end of that where that document is. Another thing you could have done was up here on the home tab in the paragraph group, turn on the show hide paragraph markings, and you could see where the last paragraph marking was. So either way, Control-N is what I'm going to use. Now I want to insert text from another file. We did this in a previous lab, so up here on your ribbon, click on the Insert tab. In the text group, click the drop-down arrow where it says Object and click Text from File. I saved all my files on the desktop, so I'm going to here navigate to my desktop. I'm going to scroll through, and I should not have this many files, but I do, until I find it's the Go, G-O-A-I-O means all in one. W-O-8 means Word Chapter 8, and it should say New Jobs. So here it is. I can either single click on that file and click Insert. I can double click on that file and it will come into the document. Okay, so from the taskbar, I'm going to now bring up my directions. We are on step 3. At the top of the document, select and center the 3 title lines. Then select the title, which is whatever that is, and change the font to 22 and bold. We're also going to bold the second and third lines, title lines. We're going to change that font to 16. And in the paragraph that begins for a complete, we're going to change the spacing after to 10. So for my taskbar, I'll now bring up my work file. The first thing I'm going to do is select the title. And I want to change this to a font size of 22. So on the Home tab, in the Font group, click the Font Size arrow and select 22. And then we're going to bold it. So on the Home tab in the Font group, click on the B for bold. I'm going to bold the second and third titles too, so select the second and third subtitle lines. On the Home tab in the Font group, we're going to click on B to bold it, and then we're going to change this font size to 16. Click the drop down arrow for the font size and select 16. And in the paragraph that begins for a complete, so I'm just going to click right here in front of that for a complete, we want to change the spacing after. That is under the Page Layout tab. In the paragraph section, we want the spacing after to a size 10. I click up my arrow. You can see it doesn't go to 10, so you're going to have to type it in and hit enter. I will now bring from my taskbar, bring up the instructions. We're on step number we're on step 4. We're moving. Okay, locate the paragraph that begins hotel group, etc. And then below that paragraph, position the insertion point in the second blank paragraph and insert a 3x5 table and enter the following. I will, from my taskbar, now bring up my work file. And in order to find the second paragraph below this first one, the second paragraph mark, what I want to do here is on my Home tab, I'm going to turn on in my paragraph group, my paragraph markings. It wants me to insert this table on the second paragraph blank line after the first. So I'm going to click right here to insert it. I don't like using those show hide markings, so I'm going to turn it back off, but I turned it on to make sure I was in the correct position. Now I'm going to insert a table, so on the ribbon, click on the Insert tab. In the Tables group, click the Table button, and we need this to be a 3 columns, 5 rows, so just watch up here where it says Insert that it changes to a 3x5, and then just click. Okay, my instructions now say for in the first column, enter job title, catering, etc. I will bring up my work file, and we're going to work in the column, so job title. And then we're working in the first column. The next thing is catering manager. Now I'm going to leave the R off on purpose. So I want to make a mistake to show you how you submit it and can fix it. And you can do this up to 5 times. So go ahead. Following this instruction sheet, you're going to type this in the first column. You're going to type this one in the second column. So when it says second column, you would be doing location. And the second one, the second column is Dallas, Texas. So just make sure you're going column by column and not row by row. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this table. I have completed all the text from the direction sheets to be put into the table. So I will now bring up my instruction sheet from the taskbar. And we are on step 5 in the table. Resize column 1 to 2.5 inches, column 2 to 1.5 inches, and column 3 to 2 inches, and center the table between the margins. For my taskbar, I'll bring up my work file. So using your ruler up here as your guide, if you don't see your ruler, what you're going to do is click on the View tab, and in the Show Group, make sure that ruler is check marked. If you don't see it up there, if I turn it off, you don't see it. That's the only way you can judge the inches. So make sure it's turned on. Now the first column should be 2.5 inches. So I need to make sure I drag this to the 2.5 inch tick mark on the ruler. So point to the first, the right side of the first column. When your pointer changes to the shape where it's an arrow pointing to the left and the right, a dark line in the middle, left click and drag until you see it go to the 2.5 inch mark, and then let go. Now column 2 is supposed to be 1.5 inches, so if it's starting at 2.5, to be 1.5 inches, it needs to go to the 4. So that would be 3 to 4 is 1 inch, and then there's a half. So click on the right line border of your second column. Make sure the pointer changes to that dark line with the arrow pointing left and right. And I'm going to move that up to the 4 inch mark. And the last column is to be 2 inches. So if it starts at 4, it should end at 6. So I'm going to click on the right border of column 3, left click and drag till it's lined up with the 6. Okay, now for my taskbar, bring up my instruction sheet. On step 6 in the table, click any, oh, I forgot to center the table between the margins. Let me go back. Okay, bring it up. I'm going to, when you point to your table, anywhere in your table, you're going to get that square on the top left corner. You click on it. That's like the select all. On your home tab, in the paragraph group, click the center button to center it on that page. Okay. Step 6, in the table, click anywhere in the second row and insert a new row above it and add the following, which will be first column, architect, second column, etc. Okay, so I'll bring up my work file, and this needs to click anywhere in the second row, so just any one of these cells in that second row. And to insert a row above, you're going to right click on the shortcut menu, find the insert option, and we want this insert a row above. So where it says insert rows above, click on it. And the first cell, the text we're supposed to type in is architect. I'm going to hit tab. And the second one, we're supposed to do headquarters, office, and the last one, facilities. Okay, so I've typed the text in. I will now, for my taskbar, bring up my directions, and we're on step 7. Remove all table borders, then add a custom 2 1/4 point solid line top border and bottom border. So for my taskbar, I'll bring up my work file. I'm going to select the entire table, and on the Table Tools Design tab, in the last group where it says borders, you have a border button. It's already pushed in because it has borders on it. Click that drop down arrow and find the option that says no border. So we're going to remove all the table borders, but now we're going to add a custom border. So click that borders button again. This time go all the way to the bottom where it says borders and shading. Now it's a custom, so where it says the borders category, click on custom. And we want a solid line. It's already defaulting to a solid line. We want to change the weight, which is the width down here, to 2 1/4. And we want a top border. So if I click this one, you notice how it comes up at the top. The bottom border is the third one down. So make sure you click on these till you have a top. If you've clicked anything else, make sure if you click it, it's a toggle effect. Turn it off and on. Make sure you have a top and a bottom only. And you can do by this preview here. Make sure you watch it and then click OK. Okay, my instructions file. On step 8, select all 3 cells in the first row, apply bold, and then center the text. Bring up my work file. So I'm going to select all 3 cells in the first row, so which would be job title, location, and department. I'm going to bold it. So on the Home tab in the font group, click the B for bold, and then I want to center it. So on the Home tab in the paragraph group, click the center button. Okay, I'll bring up my instructions. We're on step 9. We're going to insert a new row above the first row. We're going to merge all 3 cells in that new top row, and then we're going to add this text in there. Then I'll come back and link the rest. So let me pull up my work file. In order to insert a row above this one, just make sure your insertion point is in any row. And that first one right now, because we want to insert above it. So right click, shortcut menu, click on Insert, and this should be a row above. Now with all this selected, we want to merge these cells. So on the Table Tools Layout tab, in the Merge section, click Merge Cells, and it all becomes one. Now click in there and type in the text that's on the instruction sheet. Okay, I have typed in the text. Let me bring up my instruction sheet. Okay, so we inserted a new row, we merged it, we typed it in. Now select the text in the first row, change the font to 14 and center it. So I'll bring up my work file. Select the text in the first row. Change the font to 14 on the Home tab in the font group. I'm going to click the font size. And it's already centered, so I'm not going to have to center it. I mean, if you mess up like I did, just make sure it's already centered, so I really didn't have to do that. Okay, and now with the text selected, add a dotted bottom border, which is the second option in the list. Okay, so bring up my work file. It's still selected. If not, if you've deselected, to make sure you select it. And we want a bottom border, so on the Home tab in the paragraph group, click the drop down arrow for the borders, go all the way down to borders and shading, and they want a dotted border, and it said it's a second style, so it's a second option in the list. Make sure you click on the second one, and then we want bottom. Okay, so it's already here, it's defaulting to the top. Make sure you click, take that top one off. You want just that bottom dotted. So make sure you see, here's the dotted, and over here in the preview, you see that bottom dotted, and then click OK. Instructions. And then in the table, select the second row and add 6-point spacing before. So we're going to now select the second row, which is job title, location, department. And we want spacing before, so on your ribbon, click on the page layout tab. And in the paragraph group, we want spacing before to be 6. So just click the up arrow one time and you should see the 6-point. Okay, I'll bring up my directions again. And we are on step 10. At the bottom of the document, insert a 2x4 table and enter the following. The first column, we're going to have these this text. In the second column, this text. So I will bring up my work document. Now, they want it at the end, the bottom of the document, so I'm just going to do a Control End to make sure I'm at the end. I'm going to insert a 2x4 table, so up on my ribbon, click on the Insert tab in the table group. Draw and make sure you see the 2x4 up here. So watch the top, 2x4. And then the first column is going to be topic. And then also in the first column, the second row is going to be resumes. And then I'll finish the 2 columns out. Okay, I have typed in the text for the 2 columns. I'll bring up my instruction sheet. We are now on step 11. Select the entire document, auto-fit the contents, and center the table. Bring up my work file. There again, to select the table, just make sure you point anywhere on that table on the top left corner where you see the square. Click on it to select it all. And so we selected the entire table. We're going to auto-fit. So on the Table Tools Layout tab, in the Cell Size group, you have an auto-fit button. Drop down that arrow, and we want to auto-fit the contents. And we want to center the table. So on your Home tab, in the Paragraph group, click on the Center button. Step 12, remove all table of borders, and then we're going to add a custom 2 1/4 solid top, line, and bottom, just like we did on the previous table. Bring up my document. With the table still selected, if it isn't, go ahead and select it. On the Table Tools Design tab, in the Borders group, click the drop-down arrow where it says Borders, and select the option that says No Border. Now go back and click the drop-down arrow again on the borders because we're going to make a custom one. Go all the way to the bottom where it says Borders and Shading. And in the setting, click Custom. And this is to be a 2 1/4 point solid. The solid line is already selected, so we don't have to change the style. On the width, click the drop-down arrow. I'll do 2 1/4. And we want this to be a top and a bottom. So on the preview, click on the top, and then on the third one down, click on the bottom. So make sure you have a solid top and bottom, and then click OK. On step number 13, we're going to select the cells in the first row and add a dotted bottom border, just like we did before. So I'll bring up my work file, select the first row, which is topic and title. And if you're not already, go to the Table Tools Design tab, click the drop down arrow for borders, go all the way down to Borders and Shading. In the style, the second style is your dotted one, so select it. And we want it to be a bottom border, so in the preview section, click bottom and unclick top. Make sure you don't have a top one. Make sure you have a dotted bottom, and then click OK. And in the instructions, so we did the first row, we added a bottom border, and with the text selected, apply bold, center the text, and change the font to 14. Okay, with it still selected, we want to bold it. So on the Home tab, click on the B for bold in the font group. Click on the center button in the Paragraph group. And then we want to change the font to a size 14. So in the font group, change the font size to 14. Okay, and the rest of that step is select the second row and add a 6-point spacing before. I will now select the second row, which is resumes and building a resume. And on the Home tab in the page layout group, we want a 6-point spacing before. So in the Paragraph group where it says spacing before, click the arrow up and you have 6 points. And I did that wrong. I did after. Let's change that. Whoosh. Go back to 0 there. 6 point before. Okay. That's correct now. Okay, now I'll bring up my instructions. And in the properties, we're going to add the tags job listings and table. So I'll bring up my work file. To go to properties, click on your file. Up on the ribbon, click on the file tab. And over here in the properties section, in the tags, we want to add job listings, comma, table. Okay, and now we want to save it. Okay, so on the instructions, we're going to now save it, close it, and then we're going to submit it for grading. So I'm going to go ahead and close out my directions. I'm going to make sure I save this and close it. Now we're going to have to go back into, back into your My IT Lab. This is where we downloaded the files. Here we worked on them, and there again we had to be in the live product. Right here it says this activity requires students to submit a project that they have completed in the live Office 2013 environment, so we had to be in Word. So now we want to upload the file to be graded, so I'm going to click on Upload Completed File. I'm going to browse and find that file on my desktop, which it says in the instructions, the Go Grader H1. So I'm just going to scroll down. It's in alphabetical order. Go AO Grader H1. So this is it. So you can either single click and click open or double click. Now once we've uploaded it, we've got it in the, we found it, we got to upload it. So click the upload button. Please wait while it's being uploaded. Then up here, you must complete, you have to click the Finish Submit for Grading button or it will not be graded. So there again, it's warning you up here. So come down here, to the bottom right side, click Finish Submit for Grading. And then what I'm going to do here is return to course. And right here, I've already done this once. I'm going to click on this. You should see your score immediately here. I've already done 2 submissions, so I'm going to, where it says Grader Project 8, I'm going to click this drop down arrow and view submissions. And this is the last one I just did. The previous one, I was trying to make mistakes. What I want to do here is I see that I had some points taken off. So I want to look at it and see what I got wrong. You can look through here and go down and see where I got points off. I got points off right here when I was doing that table. And what I did is when I was typing it in, I said I wanted to make sure I just did catering manage. I made that mistake on purpose because I want to show you that you can now go fix that file, upload it to get a better grade. So you have, here's marked up report summary. You can look at all of these downloaded submissions, live comments. It will, any of this will show you where your mistake was. And it's showing it right in here. So I know where to look. The summary report, there again, it's probably going to say, okay, summary report, marked up report. I can open it. It's going to show me. So you can get back down to it. There again, it's pretty much just kind of telling me where the error is. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to try for a better grade. I'm going to minimize all these. I'm going to go back to that file on my desktop that I just submitted. Okay. I'm going to open it, and it's telling me that somewhere in that table I got something wrong. So if I just look at my direction sheet in here, I can see I misspelled. If I did spell check right now, I probably won't have any spelling errors. But I didn't have a spelling error. I mean, manage is a correct word, but this should be manager. So I'm going to type in the R now to fix it. I'm going to save it again. Don't change the name. Keep it the same name. I'm going to close it. I'm going to, and you can do this 5 times. You can fix your mistake and resubmit this for grading 5 times. So now I'm going to do that grader project again. Okay. All I'm going to do is upload that new one that has the changes. I'm going to browse, go to my desktop, find the Go AOI H1 here. And the instruction sheets will tell you the exact file name. So even though we have 3 files we downloaded, the last instruction on your instruction sheet tells you the name of the file. So I'm going to upload it. I must click the Submit for Grading button. I'm going to click it. Okay, I'm going to turn to the course. And I still got an error. So I can go back and look again. I probably did something in the other table wrong. Where I got another, I'm sure I did something. Right, I did fix. Oh, it's still not like. I probably got something. It looks like I got something else misspelled in there. Yeah, I've got one other word in there typed in wrong. I go back if I wanted to. I'm not going to fight those few little points, but I'm sure I've got something in there wrong again. Fix it and submit it. So that's how you do the grader project, and that's the steps for it. So if you have any problems, yell at me, and good luck with it.